Printmaking, your second project. Okay, so this is going to be a positive, negative image. And you're going to be using a block that's 4 by 6. You can use it vertically, horizontally, it doesn't matter. That's your decision. If you're using an image that's kind of tall, I would suggest doing it in a horizontal image and divide your space in half, lengthwise. But you can also divide it across vertical. Or if you want, you can go diagonal. If you use a horizontal format, same thing. Divide it in half vertically, horizontally, or diagonally. It doesn't really matter. Now you have a couple of options that you can do, and I have some images that I drew up here. I just picked an apple, and so this is the first one, and I simply took the apple, put it in the middle of the format, divided it in half. One half is positive, and the other half is negative. And it doesn't really matter which side is on which, just that everything that's positive on this side will be negative over here, positive, negative over here. Now, one of the things that I would suggest, and there's a reason for this, put a border around the side that you're cutting away the background. Otherwise, everything just kind of disappears in space. So you have this very heavy side over here and a very light side over here. It doesn't really balance very well. So this is one possibility that you can do. The other possibility is to take that image and do it twice. So now I have the apple, and we'll call this the positive and this the negative, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. But once again, on the side that you cut out the background, leave a border. You'll be much more pleased with it. So here's some examples of student work from previous years. Here's this student decided to do a horse's head. And we have a lion's head. You'll notice, once again, that where they removed the background, they put a border around it. Now this is simply an abstract, but everywhere it was positive on one side, it's negative on the other. Positive, negative, positive, negative. So the divider is right down the middle. Now this is one where I think it would have helped out if they had put a border around it, because this side's very heavy visually, this side's quite light. So it would have helped out. Now I talked about using text. Be very careful, because when you're cutting out your text on your block, when you print, everything will be reversed. So make sure that you realize that so you can cut it out reverse so it prints positive. Now here's an example where they put two side by side, multiple images rather than just one image divided. Same thing here, a mountain scene. And so once again, I like the fact that they have a border here and a border here. And that kind of pulls everything and unites it. I'd like to show you a few things that will help you out in doing your prints. First of all, when I was getting ready to do this is the positive negative. The first thing I did was I simply sketched out a pair. And then what I did after that was I took some tissue paper, some tracing paper, and I laid it down. And I took a soft pencil. This is, in fact, I did that with this. This is an 8 or 6B pencil. It's very soft, and I should have put one of these in each of your packets, in your box. And so you can come along here and just darken in the lines. And then I came in here and I put down my tissue paper and I retraced it. Now, I had several options. I could have done, I decided I wanted to do 2 pairs instead of 1. And I could have done 2 images, repeated the image. I decided that I wanted to do a reflection Either one works, okay? And so what I did was I took, after tracing this with a very soft pencil, I was able to take it and I put it here and I redrew it on this side, and that transferred the graphite kind of like a piece of carbon paper. And since now I had the image on both sides of my tissue paper, I simply came over here and did the same thing. Now this is something that I would suggest. The problem with doing it with graphite is as you're working, you smear it, it gets all over your hand, it makes smudges all over everything. And so you can take a Sharpie, a permanent marker, and you can take it, and then you can go ahead and darken in those lines. Now what I did is I drew some lines here just to remind me that this is the background that's going to stay black. And then I came along here and I just came along with my finger and I went along the edge like that, and I went all the way around, and that way I created my border. Now the images look the same, so now I have to remember on this side the background is dark, and so I'm going to cut out everything that's dark here on the pear. On this side the background is going to be light, so I'm going to cut up to the line and leave the black line on this one. And that way I'll get my reverse positive negative image. Another thing that I would suggest is when you are going to leave a line, make them thick. Because if you have a thin little line somewhere in here, something like that, as you're trying to cut, chances are it's going to break off, you're going to cut through it, it's just a real hassle. So make sure that your lines are thick enough that it's a lot easier to leave that line.